new screen recording, just in case.
Okay.
Alright, let me get back my notes. Sorry about that. Alright, so first is lecture content, basically. Alright,
Hold on,
let's
let me
see.
go to the notes. Let me.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. I'm just looking it over.
That we.
And yeah, should
I
be
just
still
want to go,
recording.
and then let me go. Oh, of course, if we're screen recording. So let's go to my notes. Well, let's go to what it is. Okay, who is in our group? We already did that. Discuss your lecture content, learning service providing source of information. Do you want to go first or?
I could go first. Let's
Okay.
see. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, let's see, it was. Let me get back up. Why did it disappear? Alright, let's see. Ah, interactive media. That's the one that I really wanted to like focus on because I want to make more of my, at least in the future, start making my stuff interactive because I feel like what I picked was that I did try to do like an interactive thing last time with one of my social handles that I created for my, let's see, for Instagram. I don't remember which one it was because they all kind of blurred together since it was Instagram, Snapchat, I think X. It was a couple social medias, and I was having technical difficulties with those, the rest of them. So I just only ended up doing one like motion handle, and I made this like motion handle that actually like showed the icon and then the social behind it. At least testing out how to do some more interactive like stuff. Like you would maybe like click on it and it would interact with the person.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Kind of like, I don't know how old you are, but like when Cartoon Network or the Barbie website was still up, there was interactive things to do on that website.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going for. I think I remember something similar to that, but I don't remember what the name of the website was or um, if it's even still up at this point.
Right.
Because that's going to bother me because now I think I know a similar website. Huh. Oh, no. That's different. That's not what I was thinking, but I think I might have thought of a similar one. There's this book that came out for like Gravity Falls that would unlike unlock secret codes and would lead you to like a website. That could be what I'm thinking of, but that might not be exactly what I'm thinking of. So that's definitely a good example of a interactive media.
Yeah. I've never been to the Gravity Falls website, so that's interesting. I love that show, so that's interesting that you brought that up. Is it still around?
I don't know. I know they just came out with a new book, but I didn't really figure it out. I watched videos of it cuz I'm not mystery smart. I just like guessing and making like theories and crafting like maybe like this could happen or that could happen. I wasn't I wasn't that smart in that
Okay.
like I didn't have that much time to do that stuff, but I've watched stuff.
I tried to look it up, but it said it was not secure, so it might not be. It didn't really load. Yeah, that's interesting. I like. So a couple classes ago, we did animation. That was like my first any type of content with animation, and it was so hard to me. It I have the most cheesy looking animation because I didn't know how to do it. It's just in the background. So this was like my next step of trying to when they were like animate your logo. And so I picked the vanity lights or the marquee style lights because I had watched a YouTube where it showed you how to make those. And I was like, oh, I can do that. So it's easy, right? I spent probably 4 days trying to figure out those lights.
Hmm. I know I went a little bit too ambitious with my first animation. I tried to do like a couple scenes with like woodwork. I couldn't like set it up right to be like the sound and the animation go together. But for like the second one, I kind of did it more simply. I used like I think it was Adobe Animate and a little bit of another Adobe. I forgot what it was. It was just last week and I've already forgotten. But I probably have it in like my backlogs. But I did kind of like make something else with like better. I think my new animation is like way better. So it's just about like practice and getting used to the software. It's good to experiment with different softwares.
Yes, I think I used a lot of InDesign and Adobe Illustrator on a couple Photoshop on these activities that we've done. I still have to do my it's to be honest, it's really hard sometimes to do like I've changed. Okay, let me stay on track. I've turned in all this stuff and then I've picked the things I wanted to do and then I listened to the feedback from the instructor and then I changed the things and then I listened to the feedback from the instructor and then sometimes it doesn't match what I've done or it's kind of confusing. Like right now I have my poll banner turned in and my logo animation turned in. And I'll admit my poll banner is different than my logo.
Hmm.
It's because she picked an element from something else. So I thought that maybe she wanted that element in that. So now that I'm trying to revamp it and put that element in it, and it's just, it's really difficult right now. We'll just say that.
Yeah, it could be sometimes tough because we're going through a lot of let's see. We're going through a lot of designs really quickly and sometimes they can like blur together. But once you step back and look at it, you can sometimes be like, "Oh, I can change that to look more like that." It'll
Right.
yeah.
Started to do, but then I'm like, too much, am I putting too much on there? So then I'm stuck there.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I think I put mix them on my notes with the next question, which was what again? Oh, all right, let me just.
Oh, hard to
Sorry.
hear you. What'd you say?
No, sorry. I was looking at my notes. I think I mixed some of them when I was rewriting them the other night. My bad.
Well, I guess we on some of these. So talk about how your view as a designer has changed since completing the projects. We touched on that. How has the learning material helped you better understand how to develop a brand identity? We kind of touched on that. How you said,
Yeah.
step back and make sure it all kind of is cohesive. How will it help you as a designer in the future? Well, we take the feedback and we do with it what we do. Let's see. How has the learning material changed your perspective about the industry? That changes every time. To me, the industry is hard. It is hard to design this stuff on a computer. Like I've been looking into iPads just with a pencil to see if it would be any easier, but it's not easy to say like we did, like the teacher had us draw it on paper and then we put it on the computer. that was it was not easy per se, but it was a lot easier than my last class where it just kind of had to come. I was trying to figure out how to put it on the computer and make what I wanted in my brain go to the computer. So it was a lot easier this time to actually get to draw it and then scan it in and then learn how to do it from there.
Yeah, I've been learning that there's a lot of elements to a lot of stuff, and there's just so much out there that I could be doing, that I could be like practicing. It's kind of getting like overwhelming. I'm thinking of like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can make a banner, I can make a interactive banner, maybe like something that actually pops, or maybe like something that's maybe more static, like swag. Maybe I can make it look more realistic by making it, putting it on, photoshopping it onto like a person or that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's so much that I can like do. It's kind of like opening me up to like, there's more, even more possibilities, and there's even more stuff out there that I can do, that I can like practice. Which I do sometimes do that like in like my spare time. I look at like other ways to like do certain things. I'll be like, how could I have made that maybe like more interactive, or I'm going back to like older stuff and be like, how could I make this more interactive even though it wasn't supposed to be? Maybe I could make it more something else.
Yes, yes. It has definitely opened a lot of venues and possibilities for animation now and art itself because like I said, I like to draw on paper. I like to show people like create stuff with my hands, but and then take pictures of it and put it online. That's not the same as you making basically like a whole brand identity for yourself. I've done it with my scrapbooking and stuff like that. I made the Facebook and like done the stuff, but not enough. It wasn't when, let's say, technology, when I did it, it was a couple years ago. So technology wasn't as advanced as it is now in the things that people can make with iPads and Procreate and stuff like that. Procreate, I don't even think existed. So, and it's crazy what the people can make.
Yeah. And there's so many like new technologies that are coming out to like make things quicker, make things more streamlined, which is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I looked up YouTube last night. I was looking at the iPad 10th generation and Procreate and all the stuff and the stuff they were doing on it, and I was like, that because if you draw a line on there, if it's not automatically straight, it snaps it straight. Say like, and the girl was putting dots on something, so it made it a perfect like a perfect circle. It just snapped it to it, and I was like, oh, you don't even have to adjust. Like it adjusts it for you.
Yeah, sometimes that could be good and sometimes it could be bad for me, because sometimes I'm like purposely trying to draw it a certain way and they'll snap it and be like, there you go. I'm like, no, I don't need it that way.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is so much different software. Like when she gave us this these assignments where we had to develop so many designs, elements of designs, concepts. I actually Googled, I was like, what is the best software to do each thing? Because I was so confused. And that's why I hang up on stuff. I get so into what software I should use to design instead of actually just going in and playing around with them and getting it done.
Yeah, sometimes it could be tough, like which software to use, but eventually sometimes you'll like look at it and go, okay, this needs to be on this because it needs this type of brush or this type of eraser or this type of um I'm stuck for another type of tool. But you'll need like a certain type of tool for a certain type of job.
Right, right. It's definitely, and it's definitely a challenge to go in between all of them. I guess as you do more practice, you can go in between all of them and know what tools, like memorize which tools do what. But right now, I notice if I go in InDesign or I go in and then switch over to Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, I'm like, now what does what?
Yeah.
Or I don't have that tool. The other one, you know.
I have like a notebook that like has like stuff like it has like little notes like certain photos work this way in Adobe. I have like an Adobe notebook that has like my notes on what worked for a project, what didn't, and it's almost full now because I've used it for like school and I've taken it with me for certain stuff, and I just have it. It's not a really big notebook, but it's at least good enough for where it can give me what I need to know about certain stuff. Okay.
I was gonna look at the notes because I was trying to see if we had a timer on the Zoom like we used to. Because I know we started at like 6:50, six whatever. We were playing with the audio
Yeah.
and stuff, so I know that the Zoom is off and we won't be able to hear each other anymore. So I wanted to try to at least make sure we covered all the stuff before.
Yeah. We've spent 15 minutes, so we could probably get to the next one. At least 15
Oh,
since I started re recording. Because mine has like a timer on it right now. So we can finish up with.
oh,
We can go with number two now, which was a brand not discussed. Okay, let's see. Ah, I had Nike. Because I did have another one, but unfortunately I couldn't get the name right. And I'm just like, all right, I need something with like an easier name, so I went with Nike. So the similarities to the case study is that it's globally recognized, even though I think the brand that we had in the research one was actually like an example, but for them it would be probably globally recognizable. Strong message, uses social media to create community driven branding. And let's see, the website design reflects the core brand values and empowers gives empowerment to its audience. That's what I have for at least my notes.
I was going through. I was re-looking at the case studies. I've never heard of UG, so I didn't know anything about that one. I did know about the Edgar's Christmas one. That was cute because I watch a lot of shorts on Peacock and Netflix and a bunch of different streaming apps. I watch all the little shorts, and so sometimes they have those in there, and I've seen that before. The Edgar's Christmas one. I was just trying to hold on. I was trying to go over and make sure. It's funny you picked Nike because I was like, oh man, I had Nike too, but I didn't want because I just went out. My daughter is fifth grade, so all of the name brand buying stuff is real popular in that grade, and so we just went out and got her some Nike socks, and she has Nike shoes, and it's just I went to a school like that too, where it was name brand everything, and if I didn't have name brand, I got bullied. So I think it's funny because did you know where the logo of Nike came from?
No, I don't think I got that in this. Did that come up? Because it might be somewhere.
It it was a lady. I can't. Her name escapes me right now, but I did it on my mastery journal before. It's just I had a teacher who instead of going down and reading the whole page of my mastery journal and like her content was at the very bottom, she just told me she couldn't find it, so I just deleted everything off of there except her class. That way she couldn't miss it. And so that was on there though. And it was literally so the Nike guy, I forget his name too, sorry. I could look it up because my internet's being slow. The guy who had Nike, he went to school with this lady while they were still in college. And he asked her to design a logo for him. And she came up with the swoosh and he paid her $35. Well, he didn't think it would go as long as it did. And this was like 1960s. It was a long time. It wasn't a long time ago, but it was a long time ago. It was $35 was probably like $100 to us now. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Nike got big, as big as it is now. He ended up giving her like a general, like a big, generous amount in the Nike stock
That's good.
because yeah, $35 back then. It was just, oh, okay, thank you, paid for the design, and then it blew up. Is so he ended up, repaying her what I don't know. I don't know. The way it was described was so cool because I was like, literally a little $35 swoosh has had so much impact for so long. So
Yeah.
that's funny that you chose them because I'm heavy on Nike lately, and it just brings me back to that all the time because I learned it in a couple classes ago. But that was really cool.
Yeah, that's true. When it's been going on for a long time, it's probably going to be here for a lot longer.
Mm-hmm. And now it was made. It was designed for $35.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So
All right. Let's
maybe
see.
that'll be okay. Discuss
Yeah.
the challenges encountered leading your brand projects in this course. Oh Lord, so many.
Wait, I just lost the question. Oh, okay. I
Oh,
gotta go down. Reset. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Discuss the brand project. You want to go first on this one?
yeah, I guess I can. So we did touch on that. Deciding which software to use to design between Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, any of the other ones I can't think of right now. But deciding which one of those to use, and then deciding how how you want your elements to look. As I was designing, I noticed that like on the flagpole, I didn't like the text being directly against the background because it looked too flat and 2D. But then I was like, well, if I 3D it or I put something behind it, is it going to make it just look funny? So I went back and forth a lot on that aspect. And then I go back and I listen to the feedback. So then I have to change a lot of stuff based on her feedback. And then I go back and forth with myself if it looks good or it doesn't look good. If someone else it looks good to somebody else, because you're gonna second guess yourself all the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I've had a lot of challenges with those things because once I put it in the software and I think it looks good to me, and then I wait for that feedback and then I get it. Sometimes I really don't know where to go from there because it's like recently I turned in the thing on Wednesday and then I had tweaked it by Sunday because I didn't like the way it looked to me before I'd heard the feedback. So then I listened to the feedback on from the Wednesday group, and something she mentioned on the Sunday feedback was something that I never even changed from the Wednesday um, submission. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like she was like, "Oh, that's really cute. Did you add that?" And I wasn't on the live thing, so um I couldn't conversate with her about it and be like, "Oh, no, that was already there." Or like when I made a shadow behind the word, she's like, "Oh, don't do black. We should do a different color." And I wanted to say, "Well, it's actually a dark violet." But it's hard to listen to the feedback and know that you couldn't attend the group to tell her these things and maybe get some different feedback.
Yeah, that could be tricky Sometimes just like maybe like emailing or getting like a one-on-one could also help if you have like time. If not, I
Yeah,
think
that's
like
true. I don't.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes I don't have the time to get in the meetings, or like schedule, which is fine. I'll make it work. It's just I now see, because with her class is the actual first class, this class right here, where the feedback, you really need it to design your before you submit on Sunday. Like if you really want it to be up to par, as I say, per the instructor, you need that feedback and you need to watch it and listen to it before your Sunday submission.
Yeah.
But then if you're just kind of confused, but I'm okay. I'll get it done. It's just sometimes now I feel like I don't know if I'm putting too much on there, which could
Yeah.
be a problem too. But we'll fix. Yours looks good. Your little they remind me of the little people,
Oh wait,
little wooden people.
which one?
Your like your logo and everything from the Fisher Price. You remember the little wooden people when you're like two and they're
Oh yeah,
before the
yeah.
Legos.
Oh, it says time remaining 4 sec. Oh boy.